move on to Jeff Cruz from the University of Sydney, who's going to talk about their process of being in the middle of implementing Rapido and RapidILL.
Great, thanks, Rachel. I'm just going to share my screen and start my presentation. In media res, so I'm sure everyone knows, because we're all library staff, that in media res means into the middle of things. So to kick off this presentation, I'll start in the middle. As the title says, the University of Sydney is right in the middle of implementing Rapido and RapidILL. We kicked off on 1 September, so we are 1 month into a roughly 3-month project. Before I go any further, I do want to acknowledge that I'm meeting you all from the traditional lands of the Gadigal of the Eora Nation, and I want to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So, just as I said, I'll start in the middle. So I'll start with answering 2 of the biggest questions my presentation hopes to answer. Why Rapido, and how are we implementing it? One of the biggest reasons we went with Rapido is to reduce mediation, particularly for borrowing requests. Yes, there are plenty of other reasons, including a better client experience, better interfaces, and our own strategic plans. But right now, our resource sharing staff have to mediate every single request that a USyd student puts into our resource sharing request form. So in the short term, we hope to significantly reduce mediating all digital requests, and in the medium term, reduce mediating physical item requests with our Rapido partners. Secondly, in terms of how we are implementing, we're using our tried and true approach that we used when we implemented Alma and Primo VE originally in 2019, and we've also used it for implementing other Ex Libris products like Leganto. So that is, we've put together a multidisciplinary project group that includes staff from across our large library service. That includes staff from resource sharing, library digital services, metadata, experience design, copyright, and analytics. We know from past experience that having a wide-ranging group of staff that can provide a really good 360 view of the process, so includes staff from those who do resource sharing as business as usual, down to experienced design specialists. We know that that provides the best outcomes for staff and students when we implement new products. To take you through the why and the how in greater detail, I'll take you on a 3-year journey from what we had in the before times, before we had Alma resource sharing, to what we have now. I'll also highlight the aspects of resource sharing we were missing that led us to move to Rapido. I'll talk to you about what we've done to prepare to move to Rapido and where we are now in our planning timeframe. In the before times, before 2019, everything was mediated and nothing was unmediated. We used III Sierra platform, and at that time, we had to double handle everything, except for Bonus Plus and Article Reach items. So at that time, we were part of Bonus Plus and Article Reach, which is a great consortial resource sharing platform with about a dozen academic libraries in Australia and New Zealand. However, it wasn't fully integrated into our discovery platform, so clients had to do a separate search in order to find items in that in Bonus and Article Reach. Of particular note, all requests had to be double handled between Sierra Resource Sharing and the LAD Gateway, which was the majority of our requests. So on top of double handling between Sierra Resource Sharing and LAD, Sierra Resource Sharing also didn't integrate fully with Sierra Circulation. So if we returned something at a desk, we also had to return it separately in resource sharing. Also, all of our off-campus storage requests went through Sierra as a resource sharing request. And our team had to do some fancy programming and some fancy coding so that our storage vendor could send or digitize items on our behalf. As I'm sure a lot of you all do, we also used international platforms and services to supplement interlibrary loans and document delivery from within Australia. So platforms like OCLC WorldShare, Subito, the National Library of Medicine in the US, and the British Library. Now, most of our lending requests are unmediated. So we moved to Alma and Alma Resource Sharing going live in January 2019. This means that when another institution makes a request via LAD, it goes straight to our pick from shelf list without any staff intervention until it's ready to be shipped. While we do need to create digitization requests from resource sharing requests, this is something that we're looking at to improve both within ALMA resource sharing and through Rapido and RapidILL. Moving to ALMA also meant that off-campus storage now has its own library, and our storage vendor is able to fulfill physical item requests and digitization requests straight from within ALMA. No more needing to have fancy coding and programming in order to use a resource sharing request to request something from off-campus storage. We still use other resource sharing platforms and services, and we've been exploring other services from Europe. However, as we've seen from both CSIRO and from Bond, their borrowing from those platforms reduced when they implemented Rapido and RapidILL, so that's something we're looking forward to. Borrowing for us, however, remains highly mediated. Currently, we mediate every borrowing request as we've had ongoing issues utilizing the auto-locate and the auto-send functions through ALMA resource sharing requests going through LAD. We're hoping to make some improvements in our configuration in ALMA resource sharing to mediate this, but this is still something we're exploring. Even with all these huge improvements to the before times, we're still missing something. First of all, we still miss Bonus Plus and article reach. Requesting items between the dozen Bonus Plus libraries was easy and smooth for both clients and staff. When Rapido was announced, however, and we understood it was fully integrated into ALMA and Primo VE, we know that this is where what we were missing, and this is where we needed to go. Secondly, we wanted RapidILL. We've been wanting RapidILL for about 5 years now. As you've seen, RapidILL is quick and easy when it comes to digital requests, but we never made the jump because it was never fully integrated with Sierra when we were with Sierra, and it wasn't fully integrated with ALMA until Rapido was created. So we're really excited that RapidILL is fully integrated into the resource sharing workflows and configuration as part of Rapido. So why did we move to Rapido? First, we want more unmediation. I'm sure as most of you experienced during COVID, we have seen significant changes in library staffing, including a reduction in staff through our university voluntary redundancy program. For the resource sharing team, this means that any expansion in our service doesn't necessarily come with additional staff. So we'll need to be more efficient and try to have as much unmediated as possible. As mentioned before, we previously used article reach, but we were only getting about 40% fill rate. So we're hoping for a much larger fill rate, possibly 90% with RapidILL. We're also looking forward to RapidILL because it has a 24-hour turnaround time, and we want to improve the client experience with faster digital requests. It also means more automated borrowing requesting for digital requests through RapidILL. We also want to improve the overall client experience, and that means moving away from resource sharing forms. Instead, we want clients to be able to find items from other institutions directly from within our library search. Finally, it's been a part of several strategic and operational plans within the library to expand on how we deliver resource sharing. One of the most important aspects of implementing any Ex Libris product over the past 3 years has been getting the right project team together. As I said, we're using our ALMA and Primo VE and Leganto multidisciplinary approach, which has been very successful in the past and has really supported change among staff and clients. Because we're such a large academic library, we have approximately 220 staff to support approximately 75,000 students and staff. We have plenty of expertise, but we really had to break down our implementation structure into 3 groups. We have a core team of about 8 people who are completely across configuration and project planning, and that includes team members from the library digital services team, as well as resource sharing managers. We have an additional 8 people as part of the project team. This is made up of our on-the-ground resource sharing staff who know the ins and outs of day-to-day resource sharing. We have an additional 7 library consultants on call, and this includes expertise within the library from rare books and special collections, from analytics, from copyright, and staff who are experts in digital experience. We have a really great project framework that we've used for most of our projects that we've incorporated into this project. And we also have a pretty ambitious timeline to implement Rapido, particularly in the middle of COVID. Our timeline at the moment is we've kicked off our project. We've done some resource sharing cleanup, and we're looking forward to completing the majority of our system configuration and system testing by the end of this month. What that means is that we will have a soft launch by the end of the month that will see us finalizing configuration implementation and doing some live testing. As some of you may know, there is no Rapido sandbox. When you use Rapido and you test Rapido, it's pretty much live. So this will allow us, a soft launch will allow us to finalize any live testing and update any workflows that we use with Rapido and RapidILL. Once testing and workflows are finalized, we'll do some refresher training with staff on ANZREG resource sharing, as well as update any training to incorporate Rapido and RapidILL with relevant staff. We'll have a final go live date in January that will be part of a larger comms, communications and marketing to fully promote this service to the university library community. So what have we learned so far, and what do we need to focus on? One thing to consider is pre-work. There's quite a lot of pre-work to do before kicking off your project to really understand configuration. As I mentioned, we have quite a large project group that have different understandings of different parts of the resource sharing process. So for all of us to be on the same page, we had to do quite a lot of pre-work and lots of reading on how things are configured. Our pre-work also included some resource sharing cleanup, both in terms of cleaning up any outdated requests still hanging about, as well as reviewing our current workflows and training documents to make sure that they're as up to date as possible. Unlike when we implemented Alma and Primo VE, where we used Sandbox quite a bit, configuration, testing, and training go hand in hand. So we're learning about Rapido and RapidILL right now as we're doing the configuration. And for the most part, our testing and training will happen simultaneously. At the moment, there is no Rapido sandbox, as I mentioned, so we're learning how to use it as we are configuring and testing. Another important part of this project is UX testing, which is really important to us. So we've made it a very discrete and important part of our process. Likewise, as this is a very short project, we're trying to balance communicating what we know. As I said, we're learning about how we'll use Rapido and RapidILL at the moment, as well as having a soft launch to communicate and to do some live testing before we have a final go live date, so that we're able to balance what we need to communicate now and what we need to communicate as we finalize configuration and testing. So as I said, we're in the middle and we're looking forward to finalizing our configuration by this month to do live testing. But I also wanted to send a few special thanks to Suzanne Buckley, who is the Assistant Manager for Resource Sharing. She helped me put together some of these slides, but also to review some of the before times. I also want to thank Chris, who is our project manager, whose slides I kind of stole to put together some of these slides for today. So I'll turn over back to you, Rachel.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. That was really good to watch. And I do love the use of the term before times. I think that's very appropriate.